Today's episode of the Know Your Gear podcast is brought to you by Patreon members, channel members, and viewers who like and subscribe. Thank you for making this possible. The Know Your Gear podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Know Your Gear podcast, episode 370 on July 5th, the day after 4th of July. Hope everybody had a fantastic week and a fantastic 4th of July, those of you that celebrate it in the United States. What else? That's it. That's my announcements for the week. That was a week. And so hopefully we can talk about some cool guitar stuff, some interesting things you guys want to talk about this week, questions, subjects, you name it. And let's start with some announcements because I have some pretty exciting ones. At least I think they're exciting. So first, obviously, always thank you to the sponsors of the show, which are the patrons and the channel members for supporting this channel for 370 episodes. Also, all of you who watch and like and subscribe, all that stuff really, really does make a huge difference. And of course, I want to thank the moderators. They're the ones with the blue names and the wrench. They're the ones that handle all the stuff like putting links and helping us keep the chats moving and everything going well. So thank you to them. The thing I wanted to talk about was I got a cool picture sent to me from a viewer who went on a vacation and sent a picture of themselves in their Know Your Gear shirt. And I thought, I want to do, we did one of these a couple years ago, and I thought it'd be fun to do one again. So we're going to be doing a contest for a giveaway for your Know Your Gear, kind of showing your love of the Know Your Gear, podcast. So how does that work? It works super easy. So all we're asking is that you, if you buy a shirt, so I'll give you the two ways you can enter. One is to buy a shirt. It's the easiest way. So you buy a shirt and take a picture of yourself in front of your gear, something that you think people would find interesting, in front of a cool place, next to an interesting person. Maybe you're the interesting person. I don't know. But you've seen some of the Know Your Gear pictures. You can see there's some right here. And this is the ones in the past, as you can see, all kinds of cool Know Your Gear shirts. Hey, there's somebody standing next to Pete Thorne right in there. And you can be creative. You can be in the picture. If you're introverted or just don't want to be in the picture, don't be in the picture. Find an interesting way to be in the picture or to get the logo in the picture. Now, what do? You send that picture to askknowyourgear@gmail.com. I'll put a link when I timestamp this. And here's the coolest part. If you've done a picture in the past, you can resend it. You can resubmit it. Because we already have it, I have all those pictures, but I'm not going to surf through all that. What's happening is Shauna is going to be tracking all this stuff. So you're totally allowed. If you took a picture 2 or 3 years ago, whatever, and you want to resend that one, okay? The main reason is we'll have your email now. You don't have to put anything. If you want, you can put in the subject line, not for public. In other words, you just want to be in the contest, but maybe you don't want me to post a picture here on the show or whatever. That's fine too. So you can enter even if you don't want it public and you just want us to see it. However, it's going to be harder for you to win, but it's possible. So what happens if you don't buy a shirt? What happens if you don't buy a shirt? Well, first of all, I want to tell you this. We had a meeting. We committed to this idea for the rest of the year. So we're giving away a prize every single month. And so basically, starting today, we're going to be picking for August, okay? So the first contest will be at the end of August. It'll be the last episode of August. I'll be talking about this. So you have plenty of time to buy a shirt and do a video. You have plenty of time to get your old shirt out and do a picture. Or what if you don't want to buy a shirt? Or maybe you just, actually, you know what? You just don't want to buy one's enough. You can be creative. So people in the past, one person took their Boss pedals and made a guitar stick figure guy like on their floor, right? Some people made some animation art. Some people just drew a picture. It's basically, you don't have to actually buy the merch. It's just, obviously it helps support the channel by buying the merch, but that's not a prerequisite. So what happens is each month, Shauna and I will be picking our favorite picture. And then what will you get? Well, you'll get a set of hand-wired Blackstock pickups, the pickups that I make. It's basically a $300 value, especially since we're going to be throwing in some extra swag, making it really cool. And here's a bonus. We did a bonus. If you take a picture of your Know Your Gear shirt in front of something interesting, next to your gear, next to, whatever you think is going to be exciting or fun. And again, you never know what we're going to pick. And you have a PM Delos, and you have one of those. Put the PM Delos in the picture with your shirt. If you win, you will get one of these not able to purchase work shirts. This is the cool ones. And my favorite one's this one. You guys never seen this one. What it is these are stitched, but they're patches, and they're Velcroed on, so I can wash them. My wife came up with the idea, kind of like how the military does it, how we did it back in the day. That way, when she washes the shirt, she takes the patch off. Plus, you could put different patches on. We may eventually sell something like this, but right now it's really time intensive for her to make this for me. So this shirt, if you win, you'll get the Blackstock pickups and one of these work shirts if you have a PM Delos and a Know Your Gear shirt. Now, here's the cool part. We have no idea what to expect. Okay? So what I mean by that is if 6 of you enter next month, and we have 6 you have a really good chance of winning. We'll definitely do something cool. If we all of a sudden get something we don't expect, like 100 people or a lot of people to send photos, and we're just not expecting that volume, we may make multiple tiered prizes, like in a first, second, third place prize, or we may make the prize a little bigger. You get the idea, right? That's kind of the logic. This is really just to have fun. We did this a few years ago, and I'm going to go back to it again, with the thank you. I mean, you can see, here's a funny story. Here's a funny story. If you look at these pictures, you can see the Pedal Pal guys right above the T and H. That's the Pedal Pal guys. Ben over there to the left, he had In-N-Out Burger with his green shirt. What's funny to me is, there's Mike right there above the K. And then, so like I said, here's what's really funny. This picture right here, the guy in front of the police car in front of the T and the H, or the H and the A. Sorry, the H and the A. I remember when he sent that. It was funny. It was that's the police car from Dukes of Hazzard. Is what that was. I thought that was an interesting picture. So again, get a shirt, send a picture. Make a shirt. Now, we will be announcing something next Friday. As you guys know, some of you guys know that we do have the ability to send logos for you to actually put them on shirts. We just don't have it ready for sale today. That will be next Friday. I'll announce that. And so you can buy logos and they heat press onto shirts. So you can make your own Know Your Gear shirts as well. So that's an option. So in case anyone is curious about that, and this weekend, if you buy a shirt, I appreciate that. The links are down below. There's 2 different vendors to buy shirts from. So just do, what you feel is best for you. Again, like I said, not for sale. Like, in other words, I don't want you to make my Know Your Gear shirts and sell them to people. I'm not authorizing that, but I am authorizing you to make a Know Your Gear shirt for your own personal use. So if you want to make a Know Your Gear shirt and send it in for the contest, I will not be upset at all. I don't care if you drew it on crayon. I don't care if you made one. Heck, if you make one better than what we got, we might have to hire you. But you get the idea. So yes, you can use the Know Your Gear shirt. I would also accept the geeky stuff. I don't know why I'm doing this. The geeky stuff, if shirts, you get the idea. You get the vibe. Send me something cool. Send me some pictures of you guys. Just like I said, show your rigs, show something, whatever. Get your, get out there. Do your makeup. Do your hair, get your hair dialed in and send the picture. Or like I said, just get inventive with the picture. And like I said, and I'll start sharing some of the photos maybe next week. Not the ones that, we'll share. And like I said, and then if you win, I thought it'd be fun. I hope you guys don't mind me going to this. I thought it was fun. I came up with it. It just really made me excited to talk about it. I thought it was a good way to promote merch, but also a good way to have some fun. And again, I know there's a lot of you out there with shirts. We sold a lot of shirts over the years, and there's a lot of pictures. So like I said, don't forget, you can resubmit an old picture, no problem. Just make sure the emails where you want us to respond if you win. All right. Michael says, "Hey Phil, can I wear a Know Your Tone shirt for the pick?" You absolutely cool. You can, Michael. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, be inventive. Have fun, be inventive, and we'll see. I like I said, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I really need something for the summer to kind of push my excitement up, and this is going to do it. Okay, that's enough promotion talk and other stuff. Let's talk about exciting things. The first exciting thing I want to share with you guys that was interesting news of the week was Fender has announced that they are going to make a 59 Bassman Tone Master amp. So it's exactly like the 59 Bassman. It's a basically tweed amp with 4 10-inch speakers, except for, wait for it. It's almost like somebody made a video called 10 Reasons Not to Buy a Tone Master amp. They got a lot of grief over that video. Even though I love the Tone Masters, I still have a Tone Master. I love it. I made a video called 10 Reasons Not to Buy the Tone Master amp and 10 Reasons to Buy a Tone Master amp. And I was just I thought, since it was an expensive amp, I thought $1,000 for that amp, the deluxe reverb was an expensive amount of money for a digital amp. I wanted to be very even-handed with the review and go, here's why you might not want it. Here's why you might want it. They decided to do the 59 Bassman, which is the most exciting Tone Master amp I'm excited about because I've always loved the Bassman, but you can't turn it up. It's just too loud. This will have an attenuator in it, like the other Tone Masters. It'll be ultra light, like the other Tone Masters. It will have reverb, even though the 59 Bassman doesn't. It's almost like when I said in that video, why don't they just break the rules and do cool stuff? Because it's digital. Oh, and they also put a effects loop in it. Again, my complaint in the first Tone Master series. A lot of people gave me grief the other way, which is fine. No one's opinion is better than anyone else's. They're just interesting to hear opinions. My opinion was I might not use the effects loop, but it'd be nice to have it. I might not use the reverb on the second channel on the deluxe reverb, but it'd be nice to have it. On the Bassman 59, I don't know if I'll use the reverb, probably will, but it's nice to have it. You don't have to have it. It's not like a tube amp where sometimes adding features changes the tone. This is going to be a great amp. The hard part to swallow is going to be the price tag. It's basically $1,600. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, Bassmans now are $2,100. I know. Woo-boo. My guess was it's going to be $1,399 to $1,349, like the super reverb, the super, because that's about $1,400, $1,350. And I figured similar type amps, I figured $50 more for tweed or something, but no, they're going 16. Interesting though, it's going to be tough is because I was looking at Bassmans because of this excitement, I got 6 offers from retailers. I hope Fender's watching this. 6 offers from retailers offering to sell me a brand new 59 Bassman for $1,600. It's a little tough to sell those $2,100 amps, Fender. You might want to rethink this. Marshall dropped their prices in April, if you guys don't know, to pre-COVID numbers, prices. So maybe Fender's going to have to look at doing the same thing. It's still shocking to see Marshall prices. I've been trying to see if Marshall's got any plans to move their production from UK to China or something, because it is interesting to see their prices on new Marshall stuff priced less than, and I know for a fact, here's why. I bought some Marshall stuff from Sweetwater in 2018, and I went and looked at my invoices online. And one nice thing that you can do when you look at your history on Sweetwater is when you click on it, it'll take you to the current model selling. And everything I bought Marshall in 2018, if you click it now, it's cheaper now than when I bought it in 2018. I don't know if you guys know that. Yeah, you can buy Marshall now. Almost all Marshall products are cheaper now than they were in 2019 and 18. And they said, I reached out to Sweetwater, seeing if anyone knew it. I'm getting confirmation that they're saying they're still making the stuff in UK, not moving to China. I was a little nervous because a little over a decade ago, Ampeg blew out all its USA product. I remember I was a dealer and I bought tons of it. And I was like, wow, they're just clearancing the stuff at epic levels. And I was like really shocked. And then that's when they made the announcement it was all going to Vietnam. So I was a little concerned. So could all Marshall, since it's all out of stock right now and not coming to August and October, go to China or somewhere like that, or Vietnam? It's possible, but they're claiming that they're not doing that. I hope Marshall... Unfreaking Believer says, I thought Marshall's built in Vietnam. Only the entry-level stuff. So obviously like the 1936 212 cabinet, the 1960, your Plexi stuff, the 1985, your JVM, that's all still built in the UK. And at least it was. Currently, it's hard to find any in stock British Marshall anywhere. And that's probably because they blew it all out. But if they do stay in the UK and the prices stay this way, I think I hope Fender takes a lead on that. And if Marshall moves it all over to Vietnam or China, I hope Fender doesn't take a lead on that. We'll keep you updated on what we find out. But I'm excited about that. And then I don't know if you saw, my buddy Steven was telling me that the Players 2 series is coming out, I think next month from Fender. So let's see. And what was this? Let's see. It is the Fender Players 2 series is coming out. It's going to have chambered bodies, rosewood fretboards, rolled fretboards, et cetera. So they're upping the game on that. This is what you would expect to see, because that brings us to, I think, the question of the week. I know we do guitar of the week. Is there a question of the week? Let me just tell you, there was a lot of people sending me messages this week about, have I noticed the massive amount of gear on Reverb? There is a massive amount of gear for sale on Reverb. Yes, I did notice that. What I have taken notice to is 3 things that I have seen. 1, Sweetwater and a lot of the big online retailers have a lot of inventory. There is not a lot of stuff out of stock, and on top of that, there is an insane amount of product on Reverb, and every single thing I hover a mouse, I'm being a little dramatic, but please let me be dramatic for a minute. Everything that seems like I hover a mouse over for 1 second on Reverb, I get an offer. So it's almost like if you right now, I've said this over and over again, this is not the smart time to just click and buy anything. You are doing yourself a disservice for your wallet, for the money that you work hard for. If you're going to buy a guitar or an amp or a pedal or anything like that, I would definitely suggest seeking out anyone who's willing to make you a deal. They're going to definitely make you deals, that's for sure. So on most things. Now, keep in mind, somebody will always comment, hey, I was trying to get this super rare guitar. No one wanted to give me a deal. There's going to be exceptions. Certain things are going to be exceptions. But if you're in the market, keep some of your money in your pocket and go out there and look. And like I said, especially on Reverb, definitely, I would say on Reverb, definitely hit it as watch the product, right? Now they call it something else. What do they call it now? Let's take a look. They used to call it your watch list, and now they don't call it that. Now they call it your favorite list. So definitely mark things for your favorite list. That's what I would recommend. The thing you can do with Sweetwater and, believe it or not, Guitar Center and a few other online entities, if you haven't tried it, is you can put things in your cart and leave them there. If you're a little socially awkward, maybe you don't like to call and haggle on the phone. I don't begrudge anybody that. I understand that. You can just throw things in a cart and leave it there. You'll get a reminder. We used to get a reminder saying, hey, you left these things in the cart. Now you'll get something like, hey, we'll give you a little bit of a deal. So it is... let's see. Grungy Chris says, Phil, the offers are less aggressive though because they aren't selling as much volume. Chris, I maybe that's your experience, and I understand that. My experience has been 3 experiences purchasing in the last 30 days. I bought 2 items. I bought 2 items. I did not ask for a discount. They literally just gave it to me. Like, I already agreed. I was paying. Here's my money. And they're like, yeah, we're going to take a little bit off for you. I'm like, really? Okay. Which is something I remember as a dealer. When the market was a little slower, I'd always kind of give somebody a discount even if they didn't ask, because I just wanted people to keep coming back. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll give them a little discount. Another experience I had was, I've actually had 2. The 2 other experiences were probably the most interesting. It was sellers being... high on their price, in my opinion, very high, and saying they're not willing to budge. And I basically walked away in both cases. And both cases, they came back and said, in both cases, sold to me for less than I was actually wanted to pay. I just didn't want to pay what they wanted. I wanted to pay less, but they came back with a lower offer than what I was going to basically ask for. So there are deals. There are definitely deals, because whenever product is sticking, and not moving, there's going to be somebody who's going to be a little bit more motivated to get it out the door. So again, this isn't about beating people up for deals. I'm just letting you know the deals are out there. I don't want you to be missing them. This isn't about beat people up. And, this is about, hey, you work hard for your money. And right now, people are getting deals, so just be aware of that. And there's a lot of them, a lot more than you probably think. Hawkhead 418 says Pro Audio Star has been raging on offers. I agree. In fact, Pro Audio Star sent me 2 offers for 2 different products, and that I know for a fact are below standard dealer cost. So they could have got a lower cost than standard dealer on it, but I was shocked to see that as an offer. Like, wow, woo. But aggressive, and they want to do the numbers I just let you know that it's out there. The deals are out there for sure. Let's see. And it's across the board. It's not just guitars. I don't want to talk about non-guitar stuff, but it's been crazy out there. I had to do 2 major purchases this year that I was putting off from last year that I had to do. And in both cases, they were thousands of dollars less this year than last year, which is just tells you where the market's at. To see that kind of a discount, to see those, to be thousands of dollars less than they were a year ago is impressive, and was nice on my pocketbook. Okay, so what else? My Knees Hurt says, where are all the discounted SGs or Flying Vs? Flying Vs are a rarity because there's not a lot of them. They don't make a lot of them. There's not a lot of variety of guitars. SGs, there's deals. My Knees Hurt, if you wanted a deal on SG, I have a black SG Standard I will sell you for $899. Last year, it was probably $1,500 used. I will sell it to you for $900, $899. And you just message me. It's just like my Sunburst one. Is my Sunburst one behind me? So I offered it to somebody for that price, and they said no. So I know there's deals on SGs. There's no deals right now that I've seen on Vs. I look at Vs pretty regular. I don't own a V. It's a guitar I want. The one I want, I never come across. I told you guys I won't tell you which one it is because then I'll have more competition looking for a guitar that I already can't find half the time. But in the Gibson market, Vs are really hard to come by, period. So it's going to be tricky to want to discount something no one really has a lot of. Let's see. Sorry. See, okay. So, but yeah, just trust me on this. A lot of people are going to tell you there's no deals. There are deals. Absolutely deals. Without a doubt. You just have to work for it. I mean, you have to be okay with walking away, right? Know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You got to be okay with losing out, And I said this years ago. I said this before COVID. During COVID, this didn't make sense. Best advice I ever was given is the best advice I give you, which is your money will run out before the deals ever do. Unless COVID. COVID was the only time we're like, no. There was no deals. But for years I had said this on the channel. I'll continue to say it now again. Your money will run out way before the deals ever do. There's always another deal. So Fast Freddy says, Phil, the reason they came back to the lower price is because their wives told them they had to. I know why they come back with a lower price, because it's sitting. The product is sitting. It's sitting for a long time. There are guitars that I put offers on 6, 7, 8 months ago. They're still sitting out there for sale for the same price. They're not going to sell for those prices. It's just not going to happen. So, okay. Let's go to another topic. Let's talk about something else. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. All right. We have... I'm refreshing my screen if you guys don't mind. It takes me a second. Or it goes away. Okay, it's not coming back. Great. Okay, let's do this. Let me pull up and just go find them manually. All right, we have a super chat right here. This one is from Grumpy Mike Guitar, who says, for the tone jar and why not, do we get brownie points for multiple pieces of KYG merch in the photo? Inquiring minds want to know. I think you get, I don't know about points. Here's the thing. I wanted to do it a little different than I did last time. Last time I just picked the winner, I believe. I think that's what I did. This time it's going to be me and Shauna. And we have to kind of have it maybe come to a unanimous decision of which one we think is the best one. That'll be interesting because I'm sure she's going to have a different opinion of what she thinks interesting. I don't know what I would pick and why I would pick it. I don't know if it's going to be like I said, this is why you should just have fun with it. It's one of those things like if you're having fun with it and you win something, that's great, either way, you're supporting the channel, which I appreciate, but also we're all having some fun together. Like I said, be funny, be interesting. Don't think of it like, just have fun with it. If that appeals to you to have multiple things in there, maybe somebody has like a zillion Know Your Gear logos. I don't know. Maybe that'll be funny. Or maybe it'll be funny if it's, made out of macaroni. I don't know. If I recall, who won last time was the viewer who stood in front of the giant dump truck, right? I think that's where the dump truck, where I came with the idea to say I drove a dump truck, right? And all that stuff came from, because I thought it was just so crazy, just standing in front of that giant dump truck. But there are some pictures that people have sent to me over the years that are just jaw-droppingly cool, and some that just kind of tug on my heartstrings. So I don't know. I don't know. Wanna Beetle says, hey, how many people use the 59 Bassman as an actual bass amp? Not very many. I used to use it as a bass amp in the bedroom, because it was my guitar amp, and then I would play my bass through it because I could. Man, it really farts out at a lower volume. I mean, by bass standards today, it's just not the, when you take a pounds versus bass sound, it's just not a good return on investment for that. It's definitely a guitar player's environment. Fret Level Midnight says, had a blast meeting you at the Zims Larry Mitchell Clinic. I was great meeting you too as well. Says, my favorite trait of yours is, aside from your knowledge in what you love, you're good. Oh, I'm a good person, and those can be hard to find. Often. Cheers. Yeah, it's a front. I just go and I go. No, I'm just kidding, man. It's what it is. There is. This is gonna get sappy and corny, but it's true. It's true. I when my kids were young, we'd have a lot of birthday parties. I've been to a lot of birthdays. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there's a period of time. My kids are adults now, so I don't have kids. I have adults. But when I had kids, not only did they have a birthday party almost every year, almost seems like it, right? Just jokes. Then for every year they have a birthday, there's like 10 other birthdays. Like, you're going to a birthday party almost every month. It's really, and the one thing you got to do is, when your kids have friends for birthdays, it's like everybody's parents, you got to interact with all these parents. And over the years, I can count on one finger. I know you're going to say one hand. One finger. I can count on one finger how many guitar players I met and we're able to talk to. So what I basically can tell you is, what I can't count on one finger or one hand or two hands or all my fingers and toes or anything like that, is how many times I talked about politics and sports and all the crap I don't care. If you want to make my brain explode, make me talk about gas prices, politics, or sports, I really don't care about any of them. But I have learned, like everyone, the art of the fake conversation of, oh yeah, okay, yeah, $3.80. Wasn't it like $3.40 years ago? It's crazy what gas is. I'm not trying to belittle the gas prices. I'm just trying to give you a reference of like the things I can worry about in my life or care about. It's a narrow margin of things. And so, having this channel, just like having the store, but more so the channel, is now when I bump into people, because I don't go to birthdays anymore, it's, oh, hey, oh, I love guitar too. Oh, I love that band as well. Oh, that Squire sounds interesting. That sounds crazy. Oh yeah, I never thought about doing that. The conversations are so what I'm just saying is, it's easy I appreciate the compliment, you saying I was a nice person and it was nice to have a good conversation. I don't know if I'm a nice person. It's easy to talk to you for at Level Midnight because we have a common interest, and that common interest is a bonding effect right away. It's just like, I like what you like and you like what I like, and we can have a conversation about that. And I can be vested in that conversation and say, even if the conversation's about, I mean, think of this, there's just guitars I don't even, not even that interested in, and somebody brings one up, I'm still interested in like this conversation about it though. So yeah, so it was great meeting you as well, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate that too. Chatman 2, Shatman 2, because there was one over there, Shatman, and he couldn't get that sign on, so he got the second one. Shatman 2 says, hey, thank you, by the way, for the super chat. I shouldn't make fun of your name. And then, anyways, hi, Phil. Love the channel. Saw you say you can use white Scotch-Brite instead of quadruple aught steel wool on the edge roll. Can you use Scotch-Brite to satin a neck? What about a whole body? I want a satin gloss on. Oh, so yes, the answer is yes. Video is coming. I have a video that I will be putting out, and it'll be like, I think the plan, because I was working it out the other day, is to do a video called like 5 things every guitar player should know how to do to, something, right? Like 5 tools every guitar player doesn't know about but should have, or something like that. And those Scotch-Brite pads will be in there. I just got my shipment of them. I'm laughing because I don't know if you've ever had the the issue that I had, which is I bought some on Amazon for like $9, and then my wife shows up. There's this giant box. I'm like, what's that? She goes, I don't know. You ordered this from Amazon. And I open up, and it's just an insane amount of stuff. And I've had this happen on Amazon a couple times where you order a cable for like $6 and then like 20 of them show up and you're like, oh, I didn't see it was 20. You're like, for $6? Like, it's so ridiculous. So yeah, I have a ton of them. I have some other cool tools. And then, what I was going to say is I'm going to do a video with these 5 things. The Scotch-Brite things will be one. And then I'm going to make it to where those also could be individual videos. Because I think the one video with a lot of things will draw more people, but then you'll want to resource the one individuals. But yes, satining the back of the neck is coming up very, very soon in the month of July for sure, because I have it listed on my schedule. When we do the repair type videos, what we try to do before we put them out is we try to see, like, if you guys know, when I did the World Fretboard Edge, Shauna tries to see if there's anyone that's interested in like a 60-second little commercial, and then they fund the video, which is so nice. It's just really nice to give you a reference, because like I said, I'm pretty upfront about all the stuff I shouldn't be upfront about. I did the Rolled Fretboard Edge video. Let me open this up in the metrics, and which I loved. And that video, 44,000 views, which is great, right? That video was sponsored by Skillshare. That video made $102.06. That's what YouTube paid me to make that video, $100 to basically teach you guys how to roll a fretboard edge with the way I've been doing it for 20 years. But Skillshare paid me like $500-600. So you see what I'm saying? Like, a sponsorship isn't like, it's a big deal, because it's like, if that video over time does another 44,000, or heaven forbid, 56,000, hits 100,000 views, depending on the time of year like this, I might see another $150. Some videos just don't pay out, and some videos don't pay out depending on the time of the year. You know what I mean? As you know, that's why I already post Christmas. So I'm just saying, sometimes the sponsorship for videos like that are great. If I don't get a sponsor, we still put it out. So it's just nice to get, it's because 44,000 guitar players looked at that. Skillshare got an opportunity to put their product or their service in front of them, and I got funded. And it also made it easier for me to want to make the next one, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good payout. Let's do it. So, so there you go. Like I said. And I'm just telling you that for reference. I always tell you I tell you stories, but keep in mind, I have stories where I could be more braggadocious and be like, look at all this money I made on this video. Some videos do pay out really well. It's a weird gig, man. You make a video, you can make nothing. You can make something that's like, it's like going to your job, and then at the end of the day, to get your paycheck, you just pull on a slot machine and see what happens. All right, am I getting paid $30 or am I getting paid $3,000? I don't know. I don't know how today could go. So, and you just hope. And either way, Vegas always wins. Anyways, Lidve says, Phil, any chance to get Ola to lend you a Bowden Essential 6 for review to see your reservations about them still stands when you have it in hand? Yeah. Maybe. I haven't reached out to them. I might. So I'm working on improving the KYG Deep Dive series. And that has been something in the works. And when I say I've been working on, I mean literally not thinking about improving it. I've been physically working on improving it, which is why you've been seeing like a pedal video and another video, because I'm trying not to put out, I'm trying to see, it's like, am I going to put out 1 or 2 more deep dives the way I've been doing them, and then the new style will come out, or can I hold it back and have the new style come out? Basically, yes, trying to get a little bit of a change at the end. I want a little bit of change. If you guys know, I don't need to tell you because I don't want to bore you, and plus, but if you guys saw the Larry Mitchell deep dive, you see where I'm going for now. Is like a deep dive on the instrument and maybe like a guest in every video or something like that at the end. Just something at the end to say, hey, look, here's some questions we can get answered. But yes, I haven't reached out to Strandberg. Maybe I will. In fact, I will. Litve, I will tell you this. How about this? I will make it a point next week to do it. I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of office time next week. So I'll be in my office, which is this room, trapped, and I will email them. What can they say? No, they could say no. But yeah, I would definitely borrow it and do a video, because I think like you, I'm curious. Will I hate it? Will I like it? We Tune to See says Marshall's distribution contract expired and they started using their parent company's distribution network, hence the price drop. Yeah, yes. I mean, their distribution network has changed. That would be the third change since 2000 with Marshall distribution in the U.S. And yes, distribution is a big part in the U.S. because the distributor that has purchases the Marshall stuff almost has to do it like futures. That's how it worked when I was a dealer for Marshall, is you would buy from the distributor. You couldn't buy straight from Marshall. You could buy straight from Engel, which was always crazy because I would buy Engel amps and Engel would air freight them to you and you'd have them like in 3 days. It was nuts, right? But like Marshall, you would buy from the distributor because, it was too expensive to ship Marshall over the ocean. And the distributor would have to buy enough to have it for the year because otherwise, as the exchange rate changed, the price of Marshall would change, and they wanted it consistent throughout the year. So yeah, there's a reason. That's a reason. But I can tell you now, We Tune to See, that's not the entire story. It can't be, because the prices they dropped. Okay, to give you a reference. Okay, just to here, I'm gonna pull this up. Order history, just to give you a reference. We Tune to See of distribution. First of all, a distributor, they can make 10% margin. They can make 20% margin. I don't know a distributor's making 30% margin, but sure, we'll give them 30% as a margin to make as a distributor. And again, Marshall was self-distributing. The last distribution before whoever this was, they were self-distributing for a while too, because when they lost Korg, or the Korg and then broke up, so to speak, they were self-distributing for a little while. But let me show you guys what I'm seeing and why I'm looking at it differently than maybe you're looking at it. I'm getting there. Don't worry. I'm buying time. This is stalling. That's what I'm doing. I'm stalling. I'm looking through my history. Unfortunately, I buy a lot of stuff from Sweetwater, so I'm on page 4 now. Page 4, page 5. We're going to keep going. Okay. Now, page 6. I remember buying my Rectiverb 25. There's my aux. Oh, I'm having a memory lane. Oh, I remember when I bought all those Behringer pedals. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm only up to 2020. Okay, maybe I share all this with you guys. I buy a lot of strings. That's what I see. I buy a lot of D'Addario strings from Sweetwater. So that's what I see a lot of. Okay, here we go. We're now getting into where, here it is. Let me share this with you. This is a Marshall Silver Jubilee 212 cabinet. I bought this amp in December of 2018. If you guys recall, I bought, I think I used one or something, and it was like molded, and we sent it back, so I bought a new one. It was $746. $746 in 2018. Buy it again? Sure, let's buy it again. Let's see what it goes for now. Let's click on it. What does it go for now? I know what you're thinking. $629. Are you guys doing the math with me on that? $629 now, then was $746. Now, I know before anyone does any math the wrong way and goes, well, 619 is X dollars less than 746. It was not 746 last year. Last year, it was like $1,100. So it went from $1,100 to $629. That's not just distributor changing a distributor. There's no distributor getting that much money. So there was something else in play to cut the prices that way too. Now again, when I say that, I don't want to say it like I know for a fact. I don't know for a fact, but I just cannot believe that, right? There's no way. There's no way. I've never seen it before. In the entire time I've been working in this industry, which is now 20 years, 2 decades, I've never seen that before. In fact, so the only time I've ever seen that ever happen before is when like with Ampeg or Vox, when Vox went UK to China, when Ampeg went from USA to Vietnam. That's the only time I've seen prices like that do adjustments happen to that dramatic amount. Yeah, somebody says, Greg says, but not available. No Marshall stuff. You can't find any new Marshall stuff until August and October. They're waiting for shipments. That's why I was wondering if it's going to be new shipments to China. We're talking about this today, so that when it happens, we'll be able to come back to this and go, oh, okay, so if it all does last minute move to China and Vietnam, we saw it coming. If it doesn't, it just means, wow, they're just being aggressive in the market. And you should put Marshall back on your Christmas list because, same thing goes for here. So since I'm sharing, let's keep sharing. Here's another one. Here's a Marshall. Remember when I did this review? I bought this amp. This is when I bought the SC220H Studio Classic. I paid $1,225 for it in January of 2019. What does Marshall want for that amp now? $1,299. So it's $50 more, right? $50 more. Let's go this way, go back. Oh, not even that, $75 more. So $75 more than it was almost 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And in that 5 years, it had gotten up to $1,799. I don't know if you guys know that. It was $1,700. So it went from $17 to $1,299. So those are some dramatic price drops in the Marshall category. And if they're keeping true to the quality and of what they were making before, they haven't downgraded anything, they haven't changed manufacturers, it's really good deals. They're offering really good deals. That's just all I'm going to say about that. But again, we don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I reached out. So, I'm interested in another Marshall product. I reached out to my sales rep, engineer at Sweetwater and asked them, hey, if I put this on order and it comes in August, between August and October, will it still be made in the UK? And they responded with, they believe so. They said, yeah, as far as they know, it's still made in the UK. So I'm like, all right. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it on order. And when it shows up, if it's made in the UK, I'm going to be like, guys, look, great deal. And if it's made in Vietnam or China, I'll be like, look, they changed it. So, and then I'll, yeah, Hawkhead said not bad with inflation. Well, it's anti-inflation. It's de-inflation. They went the other way around. They're cheaper. Well, here's the deal. I understand that one went up $75, but with the inflation in the world right now, that still went down. They're actually going the other way. So, interesting. All right, let's go back. Let's keep going. Fret Live at Midnight says, do you recommend Atomic Guitars in the Valley for high-end refrets? The Tim at Atomic Guitars, I haven't talked to him in years. I reached out. Last time I reached out to Atomic Guitars, I asked him if I could take him to dinner. Funny enough, story, you'll probably know now why. I had an opportunity for them to do something for another company. A company's like, hey, we need a builder for something. And so I offered the guys at Atomic to take them to dinner, and they couldn't make their schedules work to do it. So my answer to you is, based on what I saw now pre-COVID 4 years ago, 5 years, yes. See, the problem with recommending things is it's like recommending a brand that I haven't touched in 5 years. It's, yes, I will recommend them still because, but I have to put the caveat of, I don't know if anything's changed. When I say by change, obviously I don't think Tim does worse work than he did. It's not usually likely, but I don't know what your turnaround times are, and stuff like that. Sometimes that's what's tough. You say, yes, go check them out. And then you email me back one day saying they had my guitar for 6 months. So I would talk to them and get a feel for them. Here's what I can tell you is I like Tim. I've always liked Tim. He did good work in the past. He's done work for me even. They were the guys, I show you guys know, I had them do one of the Sharp My Axes because we had this plan. The plan was if we could find somebody to do the work, so I didn't have to do the work, I could just film and edit them and then kind of like Pimp My Ride, the show, I could probably produce one a week and we would get multiple shops. And basically what I learned from that, I worked with 2 shops. You never saw the other shop, so that gives Atomic an accolade because at least their video got done. What I did is the same thing I did for Atomic. I gave them the GoPro. I said, here's the guitar. Here's what we need to do. Here's the GoPro. Give me the footage. I'll put it all together. I'll do the intro and the reveal at the end, and then I'll walk the viewers through the process, what you did, and you'll get business out of it, and it'll be exciting for everybody. And what I learned is that it was a lot of work for them. I don't think they were interested in doing anymore. The other shop that I did it with, they were not interested in finishing the video because they didn't want the they didn't want the work. I'm not making that up, by the way. And before you say anything weird, let me just give you a interesting story about that. A long time ago, like 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, but maybe 12 years ago, I had an AC unit go out in the summer, right? The compressor went out. And as you guys know, I have a friend, he's in the air conditioning business, and he comes out and he's like, okay, I can get it fixed. Actually, what happened was it was under warranty. And so the warranty was going to take like 3 or 4 days. So I called him up and he's like, I can get it done in 24 hours. I was like, cool. And I said, well, but we got to stay here tonight. And it's like 110. I said, do you rent AC units or anything? He's like, no. So I had to go down and buy an AC unit, which was like $300-400. I told him, I said, I have a great idea. Why don't you rent AC units? I would have gladly gave you, $150-200 just to have AC for the night and not have to go to the Home Depot and all this stuff. And he's like, nah. And I talked to another friend who's an AC guy, and he basically said the same thing. He's like, I'd rather just fix AC units. So what I've learned is some people are just really, they know what they do and they do it well. The repair shop I picked, they were happy being a repair shop, not really interested in being an internet commodity and having tons of people call them and, ask them questions every day about repairs and stuff. And, more business wasn't what they were after. So that's my answer to that. And, I've learned the long, hard way with a lot of companies and a lot of people as I've tried to pull them in over the years to help me do content. Not a lot of people are interested in doing content. It's not because once they do it, they realize like you guys, like a lot of people, it's by design. It's made to look easy. It's just like anything, right? It's like a magician, right? It's gone, right? It's not the 600 hours of figuring out how to do the trick. The trick was just easy. So when somebody does it behind the scenes, usually with me, they're like not interested in doing more videos. Clan of House Cats says, new guitar day, Dave Mustaine, Gibson, Rust in Peace, Alien Tech Green. We did it. We finally got a hold of one. Very hard to get because Gibson only made less than 100. Very cool, man. Very cool guitar. I'm a huge, obviously, Megadeth fan. So very cool. I haven't seen that one. I'm going to have to go look it up. I've seen a bunch of the V's he did, but I will look up that one in particular. Congratulations. Less than 100 is not a lot of guitars, for sure. So that's a very unique guitar. Hotel Yugoslavia, just an interesting name, says, can a matte ebony fretboard be made shiny like the old ones? If yes, rosewood, question mark. I have old ones where the ebony is just jet black. Yeah, you can buff it. You can, in most cases, you want to look at the grain. Some ebony's got tighter grain. You want the grain to be really, really tight. It's going to help with buffing it. That's how Fender buffs rosewood fretboards. They'll buff them so that they look buffed and shiny. So yeah, you can do it. I don't know if I would take like anything homemade and try to buff the fretboard. I would take it to a qualified shop, especially if the guitar has any value whatsoever, and then talk to them and see if they can do it. What's great about buffing the fretboard is they usually buff the fretboard with the frets on. So, I mean, it's like, because you're just going to buff the frets too. Nothing should be, they're not going to use anything that's harmful to the frets, because anything that can harm the frets would definitely harm the wood, so to speak. So yeah, I go get it buffed. Ray Bay says, hey, have you released any music in the past, self or a band? I did. I released a bass CD years and years ago called Back to Basics. It's a sore subject for my wife. She watches the show now. I'm picturing her right now reacting to that. Why is this a sore subject for my wife? I came up with this idea to make this bass. You got to understand, in the early 2000s, like bass players were like, they were hitting it. Victor Wooten was huge, huge. Bass Player magazine was doing probably as good, if not better, than Guitar World magazine. If you guys know, that's how I got in the bass building business. There was a ton of bass builders. I was like, I can build basses. We can go. I can do in this. I want to do this too. And but before I did that, I made a bass CD. I made a bass CD. And anyways, so I made the CD, and then I built a website, and I would sell them on a website. And I remember the CD came with a thing that said if it was like a coupon, you could scan it. I don't know if you scanned it or typed it in because it's so long ago. Anyways, you gave it to somebody and it gave them half off a CD. So, everybody likes finding new music. So how I would do it is I made the master, and then I would print the CDs. So I had a printer, a CD duplicator, like a more professional one. And it would do like, I don't know, I thought it did 4 at a time or something like that. It was crazy. Maybe it did 10 at a time. I don't remember. But I remember it was loud. And so I would come home from work, and I would get the orders off the website for the CD, and then I would start printing CDs. I'd have to print the labels, get the label screener to get ready, make the cases and get all the packaging ready. And we'd do it. And the reason it was a sore spot for my wife was all night the machine would run in our bedroom. And when it would end, it would beep. And like 3, 4, 5 times a night, I would get out of bed, pull all the discs, put new discs in, start the machine again and go, because I just keep going. I don't remember how many CDs I sold. Thousands, but not like tens of thousands. Maybe like 4,000. 4,000's rounding up a bit, but not a lot. So they're out there. I don't know why. But yeah, I did that one. And then, of course, I'm working on a project now, but it's more so for YouTube, just so I can kind of copyright the music that I have, that I play on my review videos and stuff on YouTube. That's what I'm working on now. And that project is coming along okay. It's going to have a couple guest solo people. Larry Mitchell will be guest soloing one of the songs. I'm trying not to make it too, I don't want a guest solo for every song. I don't want it to be that kind of thing. I just want to have, again, like the t-shirt contest. I just want to have some fun, and then also not have a bot on YouTube tell me that I'm playing a song and and they're going to take half my money all the time. So, or all of it. So I'd really just be like, no, that's my song. Here's my copyright on it. And I'd like to keep my funds, please. So, Rock Evolution said check pawn shops near field. Probably, yeah, like Zia's and stuff. Pretty sure. So, yeah, maybe I'll find a clip of it and put it out there on the internets for you guys. Okay, Miserable Turd says put this towards your next tone pizza. I don't know what a tone pizza is, but I'm gonna do it. So I have cauliflower pizza. That's a thing. We eat that because my wife doesn't eat gluten. Not for the reason, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not so much she's allergic to it. She had joint pain, and her doctor said, like, I don't know, cut gluten out. She did, and she doesn't have joint pain. So, All right, T-Size says, oh, by the way, that's not medical advice. I'm just telling you a story. I don't want anybody going, I tried it. It doesn't help my joint pain. I'm like, I'm not giving you advice. I'm just telling you what happened. All right, T-Size says, hey, Phil, thoughts on high gain amps versus cleaner amps with distortion pedals. My early 80s Laney Pro Tube get me to JCM 800 type of tones, but looking for more and considered the Engel Fireball Randall Satan 5150 Icon, etc. So I like both amps, as you know. I mean, I have high gain amps, I have mid gain amps, and I have low gain amps. But if only given one amp, I'm always going to pick a clean amp. Always. There is nothing in me that says like, no pedal sounds as good as amps. There's just something about amps that just sound really cool. You know, I like kind of stacking things in the category of like, you know, pass fail. I don't like the pass fail system. I like, you know, like I've talked about lessons, you know, learning guitar. I think one-on-one lessons are the best. You should do that. If you can't do that or afford that, then I think interactive lessons online are the second best. And then if you can't do that, I like books, right? Get an instruction book and do an instruction book. And if you can't do that, right, maybe a group lesson kind of thing. And so it's not that any one of those is bad. It's just I would prefer them in that order. Like I think, you know, for effectiveness, right? When it comes to distortion, I would come to the same conclusions. I would say I think amp-generated distortion is the best. So if you can do that, I prefer that. Then after that, I would probably say maybe a modeler. I'm not sure of the order in this. I haven't thought about it, so I'm shooting off the cuff. Then modeler, then maybe a pedal. I might flip and say a pedal, then a modeler. It just depends. But either way, you get the idea. It's like there's nothing in me that says, no, I can't do it. You know, I can't do a modeler. I can't do a pedal. I got to do an amp. I use all of the above, and it just depends on my mood and what I'm doing. But deep down, here's what I can't live without. A good clean tone. I need a great clean tone. It inspires me. It literally calms me just playing some clean on an amp. I love clean amps. That's why I like Princetons. I have a bunch of Princetons. That's why I like, you know, it's funny. I was going through all my amps trying to figure out what's the best amp. Somebody was asking me the other day, what's the best amp you own? I go, I don't know about best. What's my favorite? Like if I could only have one amp, what would it be? And I come to the conclusion, I always think, oh, the Princeton. But really, it's probably the Princeton or it's the Amplified Nation Ampliphonics and Gain, which to me has a clean that's very clean and very full sounding. But then it has overdrive and reverb and it's great. But back to your question, high gain amps versus, you know, clean amps. I like high gain amps as long as they have a great clean. They usually don't, but as long as they do, I like clean amps. Period. There's no other caveat. Like if the amp's great, sounds clean, sounds full, sounds dynamic. Clean amps are more than just not hearing a little distortion in the tone to me. Clean amps are just everything has to be right. The feel, the push, the I just love it. Someone says Tweed, probably Mike means Tweed Deluxe. Yeah, I have a 5E3 amp. It's really good. Like I said, everybody's gonna be different. Everybody's, you know, I have a 65 Deluxe. I have, you know, I have some Dumble clone amps that are pretty awesome. Obviously, this Paul Reed Smith Dave Grissom amp is freaking awesome, which is why I have it set up today. Still gonna go back to my Princeton every time. You know why? Because that's what I've been doing. It's not about, like, I'm not giving you a theory. I've been on YouTube for, you know, many, many years now. And the Princeton that's in the big percentage of videos is from the very first day I turned on a camera on YouTube. I already owned that Princeton. I still do. In fact, I have multiple Princetons. So, but the main one I'm using is the one my 68 reissue. I use that one a lot. Although the 64 is really nice. I mean, they're all really nice. So, yeah. El Dunarino says Fender for clean, Marshall for distortion tone. Sure. Yeah. If I had to have a Marshall and a Fender amp in one, and it had to be, and it was very important for me to be very Marshall and very Fender, I would use a Pedal Pal Marshall style pedal into my Fender Princeton, and that would be fine. I would be totally fine with that. No issues whatsoever. In fact, I think when I demoed their Pedal Pal video, I think I used a Princeton. I might have. I know one time I used the Engel, the clean, you know, the effects loop on the Engel. So, but, okay. guess what?
Now it's time for Guitar of the Week.
It's Guitar of the Week. So Guitar of the Week this week is fun, I hope. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted to share something with you. It's different, that's for sure. You've seen it, not an official video, but you've seen it if you follow me on social media. And I have a video that if you saw that video, it was in that video. I thought I would share it. It's a great conversation piece for sure. Here's what it is. It is my Kiesel Delo Headless guitar that is spec'd to my PM Delo specs. So this is not a signature guitar for me. I know that's going to be confusing for some. I have a signature guitar on Kiesel's website, which is just this PM Delos. All it means is if you want the specifications for this guitar, you can go to Kiesel's website, see the Delos. It's called the PM Delos. I don't know what PM stands for. You'd have to guess. And it has my specifications. So what happened is, this is why it's probably a more interesting story, is I told Kiesel, I said, hey, I want a headless guitar. I really love my Delos so much. Is there a way we can make my Delos a travel instrument? And they said, sure. So what they did is they made me a Delos that has the same pickups and wiring as that one. I'll go through what that is. And then I did a hardtail because I was just trying to get as light as possible and as stable as possible. And then I said, okay, hey, can we shoot it in the copper penny metallic finish? Because, hey, that's a finish. And just match it up. It's really cool. And it's light, as you can imagine. This one's just around 6 pounds. So really cool. And I like it so much that my buddy Larry Mitchell was like, he texted me one day and he goes, man, you really seem to like that PM headless, or the Delos headless, sorry. And I said, yeah. And he goes, he's been having trouble with airlines. And I go, yeah, me too. And so he asked me if I can get him in contact with Kiesel. And he had a Delos made. I will link right now to his video. Definitely watch his video because, like I always tell everybody, I always go with everything with skepticism, right? Because you're like, hey, is Phil telling the truth? I don't know. They sent him a guitar. How can you trust him? Nothing wrong with that. You should be that way. I'm skeptical. I told you, I'm negative. First thought is my first thought always. But Larry legitimately just needed a tool, and so they made him one and sent it to him. And he did a really good video. It's really just an honest him talking about the guitar and why he picked it and why he did what he did and what he's doing with it and why. And keep in mind, obviously he's still a signature artist with Nags, and he has a $6,000-$7,000 Nags guitar that he has and that he loves, and he's never going to not play that as his main guitar. But he needed something. Well, he'll talk about it in detail, which is what I had a problem with, which is something that would fit on a flight, right? And it's been a problem for me. So I've now gone to so many places for YouTuber events. And, one thing about when you're doing content on the fly, other places, it's really nice to have one thing that's home, whether that's this pedal, or the amp, which is almost impossible. And it's the guitar. It's nice that I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with this guitar. You want me to try a pedal and give you an opinion on the fly. What is the guitar? When everything's unfamiliar to you, how do you know what is new? And so I like having the guitar. So let's talk about the wiring on this. Let me go ahead and move my seat a little bit. Okay, move my seat. Here we go. And you guys, let me see if I move the mic just a hair. Okay, that's good. So let me just go over the switching. So it's really simple. It's how I have it wired up. I came up with this idea because of, one, John Petrucci was one for sure. And then I forget. I forgot where I took the other person. Why am I having trouble with this? I'll think of it before the video's over. So we have volume tone, 3-way switch, 2 humbuckers, right? And then what we do is this one switch right here in the down position, which is my default position. This is humbucker. In the middle position, you're going to have 2 single coils. So just see how it goes. So for me, it's perfect because it's like, here's my humbucker. Oh, let's switch off that overdrive. Okay, so we got the bridge. As soon as I go to the middle, 2 single coils. Now, go to the neck, it's a single coil. So it's already single coil. So standard for me is humbucker, 2 single coils, single coil. It's like almost like having an HSS Strat, almost like that. If I put the switch up, it makes the neck pickup humbucker again, which is great because let's say I want to go to the neck and I got the single coil. Then I need a little bit more, hit that switch. So pretty cool right there. I thought this camera seems adjusted. That's better. So, all right, let me just go ahead and play a little bit. I'm running the Dave Grissom 15 DGT, running the clean on that. And what I want to do is, if you don't mind, go to the middle with the clean, or the middle with the, 2 single coils. Now they're both going to be humbuckers. So just a little bit more, right? Okay. And then we have, oh, sorry about that. I didn't turn on the guitar part. We're never going to get this right. It's too many things. Okay. So let's do it this way. We're going to start with the 2 single coils together. This is the middle position. Here we go. Okay, now the 2 humbuckers that are single coils, coil split, we're going to go ahead and let them be humbuckers again, a little fuller now. And like I said, I like it when it's always coil split in the neck, because now you're going to get and then what's great is I'll play a little bit. Let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to strum the chords. And then go ahead and hit that humbucker kick in. So I just like it because it's very balanced out, looks really good. Let's go ahead and switch to overdrive. For the overdrive, weirdly enough, I'm going to be using my Atlantic delay, and then I'm going to be using the Pedal Pal JCM 100 pedal. Here we go. We're going to start with the bridge humbucker. Give you a taste of that. All right, and here's the neck pickup, and I'm going to go ahead, and this is the neck as a humbucker. Coil split humbucker, or coil split neck, sorry. just going to roll the volume off a little bit. And I like that because I can get a sweet little kind of cleaned up sound, little dirty cleaned up. And then hit the net. This is now, of course, the humbucker now. So you kind of get the idea. All right, let's go ahead and switch views. Which is code for move my seat. So it works pretty straightforward. It's pretty much the same as the Delos right there. Differences being this is a hardtail because I didn't do tremolo, but you could put a tremolo on this. This is not a signature guitar. I know I keep saying that. The reason I say this is because I don't want you to go online and look for. If you're interested in this guitar, you could just buy a headless Delos. Okay, I had a blue one, if you guys recall. Ralph has that one now. He's been playing it. He won't. He says it's his main guitar, so he's been playing it every night, every day. I don't know what time of the day he plays guitar, night or day. This wiring, you can ask for it. I believe it's an upgrade on this model, and then you can call and ask and see if they'll do the color if you're interested in the color. That I don't know about. So just whatever I can do to help make that happen, I'll try. But you could just get a cool Delos. But what I like about it is I like headless guitars, as you guys know, especially for travel, because it's a full-size guitar. So this is 25 and 25 and what's wrong with me? 25 and a half inch scale. So this is 25 and a half inch scale. Even though it looks small, it's the same as a Strat. The neck is very comfortable. Think of it like a 60s era Fender Strat neck. So a little thin, but not thin like a Wizard. It's still rounded. Feels pretty good. I just go straight one piece, but you can get multiple pieces, a multiply. You can get roasted. This comes with stainless steel frets. This has 22. I believe you can get 24, but I do 22. And these are the medium jumbo stainless steel frets. And that's about the most exciting thing about it. Normally, I would say I put D'Addarios on it, but this has the original Elixir strings on it that they shipped me when they shipped this to me. I have now this guitar, and I think I've talked about this before. This guitar has been in every climate imaginable. I have flown it to Hawaii. I have flown it to the East Coast. I have taken it to the Grand Canyon. I have taken it to the desert. Not only the desert I live in, I took it to New Mexico, to that desert. I took it to the snow. I took it to where it was 118. I have taken it everywhere. I have still not had any fret sprout, but I've had fret sprout with other Kiesels. So, I mean, it's just like kind of luck of the draw on that, I think. I think that guitar I had fret sprout on and I had to do a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. I know I just did a fret sprout on a Kiesel. Oh, you know what it was? It was my Vader bass had fret sprout. Did it just perfect. I haven't even dinged it, which is crazy because I've dinged the other one. I don't take that one often, so I take this one. So it was really cool. I never thought in a million years to have a signature guitar. It kind of seems silly, but more importantly, I think it's funny to have a headless version of your guitar. My favorite guitar, and then a headless version is pretty cool. So. Really cool. I really think, and I'm kind of glad for the Kiesel guys that they don't do it, but I really think if Fender was to make a headless Strat, like made in Mexico, $799, they would kill. They would kill. Please don't do it, Fender. Please don't. Please. But, oh man, could you guys imagine a headless Strat for $799 made in Mexico? It'd be a really cool thing. But in the meantime, you can get one from Kiesel, made in USA, with stainless steel frets, to exactly how you want it, and the color you want it, and the way you want. So that's my guitar of the week. So maybe next week we won't mess up the audio. The problem is, I have to mute the guitar until I finally start doing a guitar of the week, and I sometimes forget to unmute the guitar. There's a lot of mute going on. I got a foot switch going on. I got a thing. We thought about having Shauna operate all this, but why fix problems now? 370 episodes of making mistakes. Why change anything? Keeps things fun. Okay. Yeah. Tony says Gibson are making headless guitars by default. Yeah, I get it. But like I said, oh, Vicky, great question. Great question. Must be hard to use a clip-on tuner. No, not at all. In fact, here's a snark one. You can use any one you want. Look at that. Because this piece right here, this is pretty long. This is about, with the nut, it's 1 inch. So you know. So this is 1 inch, but it's pretty cool. So you can see that even with a big tuner like this, a big padded one like there, it fits perfectly. Let's do that so you guys can see. Look at that, in tune. Look at it, look how, Look at that, you can't make that up, right? That's in real time live. I didn't know I was gonna be asked that question about a tuner and clip a tuner. Remember I was telling you the best thing about the headless guitars? They're just always in freaking tune. They're just always in tune. Now, granted, when I went to Arizona, 90 degrees at the time, or high 80s, low 90s, 1% humidity, kind of being sarcastic, kind of. And I went to Hawaii. I needed to adjust the tuning a little bit, just a little bit. That's it. But not on the way back. I thought it was kind of funny. It came back. So really, really great. If you get a roasted neck, this is a rosewood fretboard, but if you get a roasted neck, especially with ebony fretboard, or Richlight fretboard with a roasted neck, your tuning stability will get it'll get stupid. Like it literally will not go out of tune. So, because I wish I could show you this. I'm not putting this in a stand. I'm just leaning it up against a cabinet. That's why, if you notice, I'm putting it forward because I'm putting this way towards the cabinet. So. The guitar, so clip-on tuners work. Everything works. There's no clip-on tuner that I have. I have the D'Addario one. I have the Korg one. I have the TCA Electronics one. I have the Peterson one. I have Snarks. Every single one fits on that headstock. Because it's a headstock. It's just this is big. it's just a Widow headstock. So tuning stability is amazing. That's why I want a 7-string Kiesel Headless. It's definitely one of the guitars that I will have in my future one day, because I just like having the idea of if you pick it up, it's always in tune. So, all right, you just saw 100. That was perfectly in tune. That was great. I started doing it and going, this is gonna either be great or it's gonna be epic. Kind of feel like skateboarders and stuff. Like it's gonna be an epic or a fail. We'll see what happens on live, and it was epic. All right. Okay, let's go on topic. We can always cover back to stuff. Okay, we have Destructo with a Z says, or he didn't say anything. He wrote, hey Phil, you've talked about your favorite guitarists before. Who are your favorite bassists? Whose bass tone do you chase? Marcus Miller is absolutely first. He's actually, there's a signed picture of him in my hallway. It's the thing, like in the hallway of my house. Like my wife obviously, puts all the stuff up in the house. Like this is like my rooms, but I actually, in fact, 2 areas in the house. In the hallway, there's a picture of Marcus Miller. There's a picture of Eddie Van Halen. And then in the front room, there's a picture of Eddie Van Halen that were gifted to me. If you guys remember that episode, when those gifts were sent to me after he passed away, Larry DiMarzio sent me actual full prints that he took of the concert and signed them for me. But yeah, Marcus, number 1 for tone, for everything, sound, everything. After him, it's gonna be, because you said tone, so I'm players and then there's tone separate. Like, I mean, obviously Victor Wooten's amazing, all those guys are amazing, but I think of tone and playing. Tone and playing, Marcus Miller's first. Second, Michele Ndeocello. Most guitar players know Michele Ndeocello for doing a song with John Cougar Mellencamp, but Michelle's solo CDs are our albums are amazing on epic level. Her tone, her style, fantastic. I'm a huge Stu Hamm fan. I love his tone as well and his style. I have an Urge bass. I have a Stu Hamm bass. For sure, I would say those. And then I go off in the weeds after that. Those are all technical players. Then I think of Frankie Bello from Anthrax. I love that gritty, guitar pick, hitting the strings, brought a lot of mid-range. I used to love that tone so much that when I got in my first metal band as a bass player, I had that tone and they hated it. They were like, why does it sound like that? And I'm like, it sounds good. It's mean. It's a mean sound. I was running such an obnoxious bass rig, and I would just use my pick, and I was just down picking the notes, with this mid-range tone, but it was a great tone. I would say, who else? There's greats. It's like kind of like guitar players. There's greats like Eric Clapton for guitar. Like for bass, there's going to be Jaco Pastorius. Right? There's going to be. I'm going through. Oh God! You know what's funny? This is what happens when. Yeah, somebody says Cliff Burton. Cliff is amazing bass player. He's amazing, but he didn't affect me personally because I didn't get into Metallica. I got into Metallica when I was into guitar. I was a guitar player. At first, as a kid, I was huge in Metallica. Still am, huge Metallica fan. But then I got into bass, and it was a different time for me for bass. When I got into bass, I wasn't listening to any of the rock or metal music of any kind for bass. For bass, it was like jazz and funk, right? It was. It's weird to me, like Leland Sklar, like amazing, I'm trying to see. This is when you go, Stefan Lessard from Dave Matthews Band, obviously. So a lot of bass players like that, but I'm trying to think of bass players that really affected me in the way that like every day I woke up and I'm chasing that, that sound. It was that, for sure. It was those players that I mentioned. There's players I like I like Flea, of course. Obviously Geddy Lee, Les Claypool. Les Claypool's, again, a very interesting player. Les Claypool, to me, on bass, is what, like, Tosin Abasi is to guitar. I listen to it and I go, wow, that's really hard and really intricate and cool, and I listen to it, but I've never been inspired to try to play it like a fretless slapping bass. Mimic it, yes. Like Tosin Abasi, I try to mimic a thing, right? It's like fake it for 5 seconds to where you have a little piece of it, but I never really chased it. Like those other bass players are bass players that I chased. Marcus Miller is a bass player that I will literally, like, I listen to it and I can't listen to his music and then not pick up my bass immediately and go, how can I be more Marcus Miller? Like that's, somebody asked me to tell him a funny story about the store. I'll tell you a funny story about Marcus Miller and asshole friends. So I have a picture. I should show it one day. I have a picture of me and Marcus Miller, and I have a picture signed by Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller is more than just a great bass player. He oozes cool, right? He's got his like pork pie hat. If you guys don't know Marcus Miller, you need to. Not only is he an amazing bass player, he's a producer. He's a songwriter. He's amazing, right? Anyways, this is for Ray Bay, who says, hey, could we hear a funny story from store gig customers? Sure. Here's my Marcus Miller story. So I went to the NAMM show one year. I wanted to see Marcus Miller, meet him. I've already seen him play. I have all his albums. And Marcus is one of those interesting cats because when he was playing his Fender basses, I could not play that bass. Like I'd pick it up and I go, everything hurts. Like he had his the pickup guard. Like it just doesn't, nothing works for me. Like I can't play this instrument. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience as a guitar player. Guitar players, bass players, they'll talk about this weird thing like, I picked up Eddie Van Halen's guitar, but I didn't sound like Eddie Van Halen. That's an interesting story. Here's a crazier story. I've picked up guitar players that I idolize and I try to play like them. I picked up their instrument and it can't play it. Like I can't see how they can play it. I don't know how, whose guitar really shocked me was Steve Vai's guitar. It was like that too. Like, I'm like, this is not what I expected it to feel like. But Marcus Miller, the Marcus Miller bass, everything was just in the wrong place and not right for me. And so I was like, I can't play this bass. But deep down, that's what I wanted to own because I was like, if I have a Marcus Miller bass, I'll have his, part of the tone, work on his technique, get his bass. So anyway, I go to the NAMM show. I'm going to meet Marcus Miller. I really want to get a picture signed by him because I'm going to have it framed and put in my hallway because he's such a big deal. It's so important to me as a bass player. More so, like I said, than any other bass player. And I'm massively huge Stu Hamm fan. As I told you, I have a Stu Hamm Urge bass. That's really important. So we go. Guess who's with me? Ralph. Ralph's with me. So we go. My wife's with me too. We go. And I'm standing there and Marcus is there. And I'm at an event because I'm a Fender dealer where, I can hang out with Marcus. And Marcus, we all have the badge. That's the important thing. You have the badge. Not the NAMM badge. You have that, hey, I'm supposed to be at this private thing badge. So, and Marcus is just cool as hell. It's not that he's famous. It's not that he's talented. It's that he's cool to have a problem. Like I met Eddie Van Halen twice. It was very cool. Life-changing almost. Shook his hand, took a picture with him. I have the pictures in my hallway, right? But I didn't Chris Farley because Eddie Van Halen's a god. He's a rock god. He's a guitar player, but he's, I don't know. It's not the same thing. Marcus Miller was cool. Like he's like the kid at school that he's like the coolest kid, right? He just oozes coolness, and you're just a nerd, and you're very aware of it. So I'm standing there, and my wife does the whole, she's like, my mom was saying, she's like, are you going to go and you going to go get a picture with Marcus? I'm like, yeah, give me a second, Kay. And I'm like sitting there, and Ralph's like, just go get a picture. I'll take your picture. And I'm like, all right. And I go up to Marcus Miller, and he's like, looks at me, and he's got his entourage, of people. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? You're Marcus Miller. You're amazing. And Ralph goes, you just told him who he was. And I'm like, oh. And then it's so bad, right? I'm so embarrassed. And then I go to take the picture. And then Ralph says, I forgot what Ralph said. Ralph said something else amazing. And he caught me off guard. And so forever in time, the picture is Marcus Miller being cool as hell and me going, this is my face. I'm not making this up. I wouldn't do this stupid face for you guys. It really hurts my pride. I gotta tell you, I don't have much ego left in life. Whatever left of it's gone now. Just showing you that stupid face again. That was a hard picture. So I have a picture of me and the coolest guy ever on the planet Earth, and me making the biggest der face while my friends laughed at me. It's still, I have that picture up on the wall. Because it's freaking Marcus Miller. And it doesn't matter how uncool I am. It matters how cool he is. And he is amazing. And his tone is amazing. And I like his albums. And so that's my, and he was so kind. In fact, he was so kind, I dipped out as fast. I just got the hell out of there. As far as I know, we probably could have sat and talked for 20 minutes. He seemed nice. He didn't seem like he was like, what's going on here? He was like, cool, what do you do? I go, I play bass and I own a store and I think you're cool. And he's just like, man, that's awesome. He didn't say awesome because he said cool things. Like, yeah. Right? So, so we dipped out. Yeah. And maybe one day when I'm... maybe I'll get drunk on the show and I'll show you the picture of my der face with Marcus Miller. Okay. There's your funny story for you guys. So what's the moral? Is there a lesson to be learned there? Can you learn something from that story? Yeah. Don't take your assholes friends with you to go meet the person. Just kidding. Ralph is awesome. He's always awesome. And Ralph would tell you, he probably has some stories of me doing the same thing back. We dish it both out to each other a little bit. But that was, I got to tell you, that was a perfectly timed. Dude, when he said, because you got to understand, he wasn't standing next to me, Ralph. He's like 10 feet from me, right? In a room full of people. So it's loud in there. So when I say Ralph's like, you just told him his own name, he was loud. And then like Marcus is like, anyways, all right. We're going to go on to something else. I'm done talking about this. We're going to talk about Warm 5. Warm 5 says, good day, Phil. New guitar day for me. 1975 ES-175. Oh, that's a great guitar. That's a one that got away guitar for me. Frets are very low, but it plays well. Any tips on prolonging fret life or any thoughts on refret? Yeah, refret it when you absolutely have to. Try to push it off to the last minute because, original frets are fine. Or if you think it's going to eventually happen, just suck it up. And if, here's the deal. If you're not enjoying the guitar, you got to refret it. But if you're enjoying the guitar, fine. Try to prolong it. Like your idea's fine. Prolonging frets is easy. Polish them. Get some fret polishing material. I have a video, like 10 fret polishing materials. You pick the one that works the most for you, Gorgamite or polishing cloths by 3M or whatever. Polish frets. Because here's the deal. It's just like metal, man. All metal, just it corrodes. It gets worse. It gets divots. It gets corrosion. So definitely just polish them. You don't have to polish them a lot. How much should you polish them? It depends on your climate. I'm going to say from the good day comment, because that you're in a very dry climate, and because I'm assuming that. I'm just assuming. Because you're in a dry climate, I would say, oh man. I'm going to tell you why I said oh man in a second. That you polish them twice a year. That's more than enough. I would do it. If you restring a lot, don't do it every time you restring. If you do it about 2 restrings a year or more, do a little bit more than that, like 3. You can do it that many. One that got away. I was at Carter's Vintage Guitars in 2018 and saw an ES 175. I don't know what year it was. I think it was like an late 90s one. They wanted $1,500 for it. It was amazing. I picked it up. I was like, I got to have this, got to have it. I was playing it. And I was like, $1,500. Maybe it was 18. But either way, I was like, I can't do it. And now you're like, no, should have done it. It was a great guitar. Didn't do it. So I was mentally not in the financial place to buy it. I was like, I was thinking about the cost of the trip because I was there for work for YouTube. And sometimes when you're at events and trips and stuff, all you're thinking about is like, okay, this is costing me $2,000 to be here. Am I going to make enough to cover the expenses? Oh, if I buy a guitar, what am I doing? So I should have bought it. So Chris Puckett wants to know, can the guitar fit in the overhead on a plane? Yes. So something to know about this guitar. In its Kiesel case, which is a hard foam case that Kiesel told me I could drop off the second story of my house. That's what they said. I have taken this guitar and that guitar I'm pointing at with this guitar in the Kiesel gig bags. I have 100% confidence in those bags. They're like hard foam, man. They're hard foam. This comes in like I said, so it comes in a hard foam case. That case, 2 things I will tell you that I know you can do. It will absolutely fit in the overhead of any plane to the point where then what I do with it is I immediately put it with the gig bag in the overhead vertical like this, right? So I put it in, I turn the case, I don't know if that's vertical, like this. So the guitar is like this in the overhead and push it towards the back. And then I immediately put my carry-on in front of it. And then everybody puts their carry-ons in front of it and no one ever says anything to me. And I'll tell you this is how I get it on the plane. I go, every time I take this, I take it to where I check my luggage. I check one piece of luggage usually because I'm going for like a week. I check my luggage, and then while I'm holding it on my shoulder, I say, I'm going to gate check this. And they always go, okay. And then I go through, TSA. And then when I get to the plane, when they board, I just walk on the plane. I don't say anything. They don't say anything to me. I don't say anything back. It's small. It doesn't really look like anything because it's very small. I should have brought the case. If Sean is watching and you want to bring me the case, it's in my closet in the bedroom, and you can bring it if you want, and throw it in here. Just throw it, open the door and throw it at me. So anyways, here's what's great though. So I know you can do that. I've done it many times. That works. What I can tell you is, for sure, is if you do get to a gate and they say you have to gate check that. I don't know if you know what gate check means. It means like a stroller, like a wheelchair. You take it to the gate, then they take it, they put it underneath the plane, but it's like last in the plane and then it's the first thing off because when you get off the plane, it's immediately there for you to grab and go again, right? So you don't go and get it you don't claim it at baggage. When you gate check it, the case is more than safe enough for gate checking. So I think it's actually safe enough to take transport most things, but hey, I don't want to testify to that 100%, but I would testify that you would be safe to gate check it. But yeah, absolutely, for sure. So there's your answer to that. I've never had them make me gate check it. It's too small. Just doesn't seem to. But I haven't. But so if you watch Larry Mitchell's video, he'll talk about how he had a little trouble getting to Australia and France because they wouldn't let him check it on or take his guitars on the plane and stuff. So he hasn't tried this yet, the smaller one, but he's tried his bigger ones and had trouble. So I've not had any trouble getting this on a plane. Look, I can hear the door open. Toss it. Look at that. Perfect. This is the bag. Look at that. So give you a scale reference. You can see. Here, let's keep walking back. There you go. So, and you can see it's hard. It's like it's hard foam. I'm squeezing the crap out of it right now, right? So it's a hard foam bag, and it's very small. You could probably get the dimensions. If not, I can probably post the dimensions. Very small, very durable. You can throw it. I'm sure you're all impressed that I throw it a foot off the ground. Anyways, but I asked the guys at Kiesel, I go, how strong are the gig bags? They're like, you can throw it off the roof. They're like, I think they said you should. You should throw it off the roof in the video. I'm like, no one cares about that. But maybe you guys do. Okay. Okay. Let's button up the show. Let's do it. What are we at? We're at time to drink some water and see if there's. Okay, so no more super chats. Let's look at this. Click this. Okay. And I'm going to go and just free click this. So like I said, no more super chats. I just closed out my super chat window. So if you super chat me, I can't see it. Okay. And then like I said, if you have anything you want to talk about or question, just put a question mark first if you want. And the Chris Goodwin says, we can't see downvotes anymore. How are we supposed to know if Ralph is here? I know that was the old joke that Ralph used to do downvotes. I see the downvotes. That's how it works now. I think I can set my settings to where you see the downvotes. I don't get very many. I get the exact amount, though, every time, which is kind of funny. So, if I'm looking at a video right now, let's look. So, a video that gets... Yeah, let's pick one here. 100,000 views. Okay, so I got a video that's got 102,000 views. That video is a month ago. I got 3,534 up votes, 25 down votes. I'd say that's about right. I average 99%, 99.3. I'm saying 99.1, 99.0, 99.5, 99.2 good votes. So I don't get a whole lot of down votes. Here's the funny part about that. But that is because no one can see the downvotes. I think because people can't see the downvote when they do it, they just don't do it as much. I forgot why YouTube did it. Somebody was getting their feelings hurt with downvotes or something. I don't know. I don't really look at the upvotes and downvotes, so I always I solicit the upvotes, but only because everyone says you'll get more views if people like and share and comment. So you solicit that for that reason, because then the video will be presented to more people, and that's good for, it's good. It's good all the way around. Good. All right. Okay. So let's do the last one. I wanted to just pull up my last. Oh, okay, cool. I was pulling up my message. I have a message thing that tells me what announcements, if I forgot anything. I didn't forget anything. I didn't forget any super chats. I'm on it today. I almost got through the guitar a week without messing it up. It's almost a good show at this point. So on that note, let's see. I want to do Hero Glop says, hey, have you seen the new LTD Affinity guitars? They charge more than the rest of the Affinity products. Is it their way of lowering prices of the classic Vibe lines? I don't know. I need to pay attention more to Fender. I'm a big Fender fan. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the amps. I'm a huge fan of the guitars. And then over the last couple years, I'd say 2 years, I just haven't been paying attention to Fender. When they come out with stuff, I don't look. I don't pay. If you guys bring up stuff, I'm like, oh, okay. And it's because they don't work with the channel anyway. And it's funny because it's not just that. It can't be that reason because Gibson isn't working the channel anyway, and I'm always on top of what Gibson's come out with. I think it's because, you know what it is? I know what it is. They don't work with the channel, which isn't a big deal. It's just kind of like, obviously because I'm not in tune with it that way. And then also it seems like always everything was either a price increase or a quality issue. So after a while, it got a little like disheartening to look at what Fender was up to. But I will do that. I will look at more Fender stuff. We'll get more Fender product on the channel. I have a lot of videos coming, deep dive wise, that I'm excited about in a new format, and I'm trying to make the deep dive series a little bit better, a little better than it was before. Even though I thought we did good, we always do a little better. 3J Music says, Phil, is that a 2061 cab? Yep, that's a Marshall 2061 cab. Usually what you see on top of that is a Marshall 2061 head. So I have the 2061 head and cabinet that I use. That is the Marshall that I like the most. It's like a little 20-watt plexi little thing. It really, really sounds good. You put a little pedal in front of it, and man, it just sings. Or just crank the thing and go. I like it. It's a great amp. Gets the Marshall out of my system. It's nice to have Marshall. As you guys know, I'm a Marshall fan, but I think everybody's doing Marshall better than Marshall now, for the most part. So I play my Friedman stuff. Somebody did have an early riser question that I did capture, and for some reason it's not here. So I apologize. I don't have the name. So what I was asked was, have I seen or have I tried the new Friedman preamp pedal? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me do this. The Friedman, I want to pull it up. We'll end on this. The Friedman IRX, I think is what they asked are, and the IRD. So let me pull it. I'm hitting it right now, and I'll explain why I didn't do a video of it and why I don't have one. Okay. So the question was, have I tried this Friedman IRX dual tube preamp and DI? I have not. I don't know why the picture is not uploading, but we'll give it a second. Oh, there it is. I have not tried it, nor was I interested in trying it. This is one of those things where, obviously I like Friedman a lot. Like I've told you, I think Dave Friedman has one of the best ears when it comes to tone in our time. That's just my opinion of modern guys. And he's just a hell of a designer too. Products like this, if a company like, if would be boutique, if Avi and those guys said, hey, like the mini heads and stuff, would you review one? They would send one up. I would definitely do the video of it. I'd be interested to check it out, and I'd share my thoughts on it with you guys. Those thoughts, what I can't share is how it sounds. That would be the thoughts I'd share, like, oh, what do I think of the sounds and functions and stuff. The one thing that's tough, though, when a company isn't like sending a product out like that, now it's like, do I want to buy it and share it with you guys? The question is, what would I use it for? What would be the purpose of me buying it other than to make the video? And I actually use products like this. The problem is I really, really was already excited when I already kind of knew about the Laney product, which is the one I reviewed. And there's a reason why. It's the same reason when I had lunch. I told you I had lunch with Larry Mitchell twice. We had long conversations about why I don't own an Axe FX pedal, and what my complaint is. And when I told him my complaint, he said, yeah, you're right. It would be like a nice feature. So $499, I'm no doubt in my head, not trying it, that the Friedman pedal sounds great. Okay. So if you want a recommendation on that, I've not owned a Friedman product I didn't like in some way before it comes to sound. Quality wise, I think the product's quality seems to be there. Price wise, I can't even say that that's a lot of money. But here's what I will tell you. Okay. For me, because this is what I chose. In fact, I would have grabbed it and shown it to you right now, but a really amazing patron came over and made me this something, and I told you guys I'm going to share it with you. And he was asking me my thoughts on this, and I was telling him how much I love it, and I let him borrow it. So he's borrowing it right now. So what is it? It's the Laney Ironheart Martin Miller loud pedal. This pedal. So let me tell you what I know and don't know. Is this pedal sound as good or better than the Friedman? I don't know. I'd have to compare them to know. My gut says, for my ears, the Friedman probably sounds more to my liking than the Ironheart. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. I don't know. What I will tell you, the clean on this is fantastic. I don't know if the Friedman clean will be as good as this. And I told you guys, clean is important to me when it comes to something that's about function like this. This has a boost in it, which is great, and it has reverb. So having reverb and a clean channel, having IRs, this does everything that the Friedman does, okay? It has impulse responses. It has the line out. It has reverb, which the Friedman doesn't. The thing I don't care about, so if you say it, I appreciate you saying it or whatever you're thinking it, but the fact the Friedman has a tube, a preamp tube, and this doesn't, don't care. I don't think that way. I literally, like I said, I don't think tube amps are everything in the world. I think most of the amps I like are tube amps, but I like good amps, and good amps can be anything. This, in my opinion, I actually appreciate that Laney didn't stick a tube in there and try to say like, oh, we got tube sound. They got a great tone. It has a fantastic clean. The clean sounds legit. I can use it all day, which means I can run a pedal in front of it. So let me put it this way. For the same price, for $4.99, and this is where I landed on this, for $4.99, I can buy this pedal and I could put a Friedman overdrive in front of it. And I know what you're thinking, well, the Friedman overdrive is like $200 or 100 to 150 used, and now there'd be a lot more. But this has 60 watts of power at 8 ohms and 30 watts of power at 16 ohms. Either way, as I said in the video, that is the equivalent of a 15 to 25 watt tube amplifier. This is definitely loud enough to plug into a cabinet and play with a drummer. No problem. This is what I was complaining about with Larry with the Axe effects. I don't know why everybody just doesn't give me a 30 to 60 watt power section in these things. You can do a little Class D power section in there. I would rather have, you don't have to use the Laney as power. You can use it exactly like the Friedman, just as a preamp out, or the IR straight in the computer. And then, like I said, run on whatever pedal. To me, versatility is key. And the first thing I want is power. I have a Kemper because I told you guys, functionality, I like how it kind of works. But more importantly, the Kemper has, I think, a 300 watt power section in it. I can take that, plug it in a cabinet. To me, and when I was telling Larry this, he goes, I understand, because sometimes when I have my XFX, I plug in the PA, but it'd be really nice because some of the guys on stage have it, guitar amps. I would like, to run it to a cabinet and have it like a monitor, an amp on stage. And I'm like, yes. Same thing with this Laney. To me, the idea is if I go on a stage with the Friedman product and I run a line out to the PA, that's great. But I would also like to run a second line to a cabinet and have a cabinet right there next to me and have that ability too. And that's why I like the Laney stuff better. It's made in UK. It's $4.99, so it's not like, it's not legit. It's totally legit with power and IRs, everything Friedman. And if the argument is the Friedman distortion is better, it's possible, but I can put Friedman distortion in front of that Laney. So that would be my, hey, if Friedman guys ever hear this, make that same thing, but put 60 watt power section in it. Put power in it. It just makes sense at this time. Even think of this, we already talked about that. It'd be it's $5 plus $200 more, so $600-700 to do a Friedman pedal on that. If Friedman would put power on it, I could see them asking another $100 to $200 and doing that. It'd be really, really cool. It'd be really usable. That's just my thought process on those products. But I think both are great. I think you'd be happy. But for me, that's why I did that. Chose the way I did. So, and I like, as a bass player, I like having a little portable power amp, that I can take anywhere. As a guitar player, that Laney thing, I can tell you right now, like that's my go rig now. Take this headless guitar, that and the little what do you call it? The Spark Micro. That's my headphone amp. I can run, I don't use headphones, but I would use it as a speaker in the hotel room. And then having that Laney everywhere I go in that same, throw it in that gig bag. And the idea that I have an amp wherever I go, I can find a cabinet anywhere. I don't really care. Beggars can't be choosers. I can go anywhere and be like, get me a speaker cabinet. And, but you want good tone. Like I said, I want home, something that feels familiar. That guitar, that amp, that'd be good. And I'm good with the distortion on that amp. I like it. Sounds really good. So that's my thoughts on that. We'll finish up. We're done. That was the show. Hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys have good plans for the weekend. I want to say happy holiday weekend. Is it a holiday weekend? Some people. I have some friends that have a 4-day weekend this weekend. So happy 4th of July weekend to everyone. And I should give an update on my dog. Since you guys hung out at the end. So last Friday, my dog, who was having seizures, got really sick. He did have a seizure, but he had a seizure because he was sick for 2 days and he couldn't, or for a little over a day and a half, he couldn't take his medicine. So he did have a seizure, but that's not why he went to the hospital. He went to the hospital because he was sick. I went there. I was there with Shauna for 4 hours. She was there for a little over 8 hours. My son came and we swapped places because I could do the show, and then he stayed with us the second half. So they thought he had valley fever. This is the third time he's been tested, and they got a negative, so that's good. Doesn't have valley fever. The thing, maybe he ate something he's not supposed to. You know, I love him. He's a great dog. He's not. I don't know. I feel like I'm a mean person if I say this. I don't want to say he's not smart, but you understand. He's a dog. He's like a dog. Like, you know, he chews on a rock. You know, he eats plastic. We constantly have to make sure, like, everything has to be to where he can't get to it. But most of that, so, you know, actually that's a better way to put it, because the seizure medication is like, it gives him the munchies, is what the way they explain it to him. He's like, he gets high, right? So the medication makes him high and he gets the munchies. So we think he ate something again and he got sick. Either way, he's better. It's good. You know, it's worth. He's worth the crazy amount of money that he's cost at this point. I really mean that. He's worth it. Me and my wife are like, we're just happy he's still with us. Even though, man, I should have been a vet. So anyways, I just want to give you an update. So he's doing good. And no problems this week. He's been, they gave him a bunch of new medication, and he's worked it all out. It's good. All right. On that note, guys, thank you guys so much for your time. You guys have a great weekend. Play some guitar, and I'll see you next Friday, hopefully. Until the next time, know your gear.
Today's episode of the Know Your Gear podcast is brought to you by Patreon members, channel members, and viewers who like and subscribe. Thank you for making this possible.